They don't really have anything to deal with this hero. They've got high burst damage. They have the crippling fear, which is one thing that can be a bit annoying for that life.
Well, that's the
look at
thing,
his
right?
matchups. He's got some very good ones coming into play in the lane as well as in that mid game.
All right, well, let's see if RNG are able to make those early plays, because, yeah, as soon as the nighttime comes in and mind control starts to stalk around the map, if he can, get over the trees, if he, getting on top of the lifestealer early, it sort of goes both ways, right? Because he's not going to be able to press Rage. He's going to be silenced for the good 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds, depending on the level of that fear.
I think it all depends on who comes out to a good start in the laning phase. We're going to see how they decide to choose their lanes and put pressure onto Liquid. Already seeing that they want to make sure that Mind Control gets off to a good start. They're sending the Gyrocopter bottom. They're looking to pressure Lifestealer. So I like this approach a lot by Liquid. I think this is super important for them in this laning aspect of the game. And we're seeing now more rise of the Tiny. I feel like this, we kind of were seeing it toward the end of the day yesterday, just Tiny seeming, and even the beginning of the day, of course, from Secret. Tiny just seeming to be a top pick now for the mid lane. Just super strong matchups, and you can just create so much havoc in space. And looking at Liquid's draft, they do have a lot of things that work well with it, right? They have the Tiny, the Gyro, and the ET. These three guys synergize really well together because they're all mixed. They're physical and magical all together.
Sure, but at the same time, right, it's not going to be easy for Weehard to pop off, because you look at the heroes in RNG side, and there's Aphotic Shields, there's Flame Guards, there's Centaurs with high HP, there's a Lifestealer with Rage. There's a lot of ways for them to counterplay the combos.
Yeah, and there's a lot of mobility too, like the panel was mentioning. Tanky heroes and mobility can cause a definite problem for the Tiny, same thing with also that Lifestealer who has the built-in Rage. But we will see how it ends up as right now. The lane swapping begins.
I was going to say, we are going to see RNG move their lanes around, but the same to be said by Liquid. As soon as RNG start to head down bottom, Mind Control is going to go the same way as well.
I love that. They're like, guys, we're swapping lanes, and Monet's like, wait up, I got to dig. Dig in the mid lane.
I mean, hey, he got a player card pack. He's going to be able to buff up his fantasy team for the next 2 days.
I actually love that so much. And he still makes his way. They're waiting to see what the lanes are, because he wants to be matched up away from that aggro, from the aggro lane. He wants to be laning versus that Night Stalker in particular as a Lifestealer. So Lanem, he's going to get some freebie experience and last hits versus GH. Last time I saw GH as a Crystal Maiden in a 1v1, he killed Cuckoo as a Crystal Maiden versus a Sand King. But he's an IO this time, so Lanem should be able to just secure those last hits freely versus it. And look at this, Miracle's just, look at them just dancing. They're just dancing back and forth in the mid lanes, unable to decide
they really are.
They want to have.
They're going jungle. Oh, here we go, you know. If you can't find the lane matchup you want, go to the jungle. It's sort of the pub approach.
What is going on right
I don't like my lane. I don't want that lane.
Look, Mind Control too. He's just like, all right, I'll jungle as well.
All right, this is the new strat, ladies and gentlemen.
Miracle's just dancing back and forth, still in the mid lane.
See, when my teammates were doing this, I thought they were game ruining. Little did I know they were pulling out TI strats before the meta.
They were ahead of the time.
They were.
They're I mean, this is actually...
Okay, I mean...
I didn't expect to see this, but it looks like we have a one-position Kuroki Elder Titan free farming in the top lane.
Wow. This is remarkable.
Well, that's going to change some timings and peakness for some heroes, as some heroes are just not going to be pressured now, and others were going to have more experience than you would have imagined. I mean, it's a level 3 Elder Titan on Kuroki already in this game. Now we're seeing the lanes are starting to get matched. They're going to have the Monet up versus that ET as well as Night Stalker, but I mean, the thing is that Kuroki's got level 3 already. A level 2 Asper at this point in the game. Look at Afu. He's just dead.
Whoa.
Deny, though.
He does indeed. Nice miscall from Afu. Will take that opportunity away from Kuro, but even so, you saw the power of that ET.
Giving ET an early level 3 like this and he gets boots, he can run down anybody in the game with absolute ease. You're going to have plus 100 damage if you get just 2 heroes caught by that spirit. All right, we're getting back to normal Dota now. Everybody's
like the lanes
getting
have
back
settled.
into the lanes, but like we said, high-level Elder Titan, high-level Mirana might be able to change a little bit of factor here into this laning start here.
What about this, the bottom lane? We can see Miracle and GH, this Gyro, they should be fairly safe, or do you think there's definitely a chance that RNG can get on top of GH in this lane?
If you get caught by an arrow, you're probably dead. Unless you're inside of the creep wave.
Oh, mid lane.
GH can't.
Oh, it's close. It's very, very close. Setsu will come out on top of that attempt from Weehard. Both of them trying to go for that first blood. Setsu's going to win it off the bottom lane.
There's that arrow.
RNG, they make the connection. As they get GH, Miracle chased down, will be able to get back behind the tower. They won't dive any further. But a quick 2 kills from RNG to kick these lanes off as they find those favorable matchups.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a tough lane, right? We see, like as we were talking about, Centaur versus Gyro, I think we've seen it a lot in this I mean, over this year, just how much base damage you have advantage over the gyrocopter, and also they have a double stun lineup. So if you step up too far, high-level Murata, as we mentioned, even though it was a support Murata who got all that experience, does dish out a lot of deeps. 2-0, Weeha. Still looking to be aggressive, just break up that Flame Guard immediately when it does get used by Setsu, so he can play aggressive in the lane. And Weeha should be able to farm still quite freely here. Oh, but he misses his range creep. He actually tree through and missed it. Just a little bit there.
Still having that slight edge on Setsu and CS, but it's very, very close between the two at the mid.
He sent them back to base. Flame Guard is going to be up soon, but he doesn't actually want to stay in the lane because he's just too low. Doesn't want to have to use the courier to bring out any more regen. Yeah, Weeha, even though he died, he's able to come out of an event and another deny by Afu.
Yeah, very important that he gets these. I mean, as you said, Kuro already having a brilliant start in terms of experience. If he was getting these kills as well, this lane would be an absolute nightmare for RNG, despite being able to force this lifestealer against the Night Stalker lanes.
Yeah.
Very important that Afu gets these off every time. Now they'll turn. Open moves onto Kuro. Mind Control trying to body block them off, but Afu's on top of him, and this time the miscoil will be used offensively. Afu able to strike back as he comes back into the lane and take out Kuro.
Lifestealer being one of, I think I say it every single time I see Lifestealer versus Zelda Titan, it's like the best carry hero in the game, it feels like, versus the AET, because you just can run him down, he's high strength, you don't really care about getting your armor negated, and even though it's a high level ET, he actually hasn't gotten any more experience, he's now hitting that level 4, but he's going to be going for phase boots on Kuroki, so he's really looking to be extremely aggressive on this Elder Titan, just punch heroes in particular.
Oh yeah, he wants to make the most of those early levels.
Yeah. Nighttime hits too, so Mind Control only level 3 up top because of all these constant lane swaps, so he's probably going to stay up here for the time being to farm. And even though bottom, we said that they were going to get pressured, they did get killed that one time, Miracle's still able to secure some farm versus the Centaur with the IO back.
They're trying on mid. We are very low as Afu's going to come in looking to dive for two of them. Aphotic shield on Setsu, allowing him to continue to chase. We are trying for the jukes in the trees, and Kuro, he's just slamming down onto Setsu, punching him with a big old stapler. Chains are back up.
He's got a spirit and a stomp, Setsu. He's going to have to juke this one out. He's got the slide.
He's not going to use it.
To get it.
Didn't even turn to try and go for the slide dodge. Would have been hard to do.
It would have been hard because it's only level 1, but...
Now Kuro, he's looking to run down another. Afu's in trouble. He's being sandwiched in by the two of them. Wrap around from Weeha, pops the mango.
Find Afu as well.
They'll get the both of them. Liquid getting themselves their first 2 kills in the game. And with those catches around the mid lane, another death on Setsu. Sure, he didn't die earlier, but he was pushed out of lane, so it's more time where Weeha's going to have that advantage.
Kuroki. Of course. Okay, he actually was... Oh, those were not his blades of attack. All right, cool. I was wondering how he got that gold. He's actually just going to be going for more of the 5-position build. I was like, wow, Kuroki's going phase boots. Maybe because of that start he had, but he actually passes off the blades of attack to Mind Control. Mind Control will have phase boots now in that laning phase, which will put some pressure on Monet here. And as we saw bottom, they were forcing away RNG quite a lot here with this aggro dual lane with Weeha coming down now too. They actually just have so much sustain because of the IO.
Weeha sneaking around the back of the tree line. Wants to get this wraparound on Lanham. They've got the 3 of them here, Liquid. Lanham actually ends up juking past him. They'll look towards Flyby. It's a bit of a tankier hero to go for, but tossing him back into the rocket barrage will start to bring him low. Pop the stick charges, missiles on the way over. We are slapping him down with the tree.
And he has an arcane rune.
They'll get the kill. Flyby's gone. A successful rotation from Weeha. Manages to open up that bottom lane to be back in a bit of Liquid's favor. Mid lane. Dive onto Kuro. Stomp will slow down Setsu momentarily, but the shield gets it back off. He can jump forward with the Remnant. Kuro slowly burning down to the Flame Guard. A couple of Remnants from Setsu will seal the deal.
Still off to a very solid start here for RNG with these moves. I mean, Afu, right? He's just moving around the map, even though he's in Abaddon. Abaddon, as their high position, is able to make moves around the map like this and even deny yourself a couple of times. Very impactful. And we see swaps more from Liquid. They want to... Looks like they want to actually have a better matchup here in that mid. As Weeha just continues to roam around and try to set up for kills. Come on, in.
Trying to turn a bit, give a bit of damage back the way of Weeha.
Uh-oh. Setsu. He got too over-aggressive.
Whoa. He's dead.
Now Afu.
He's straight up dead. Liquid just turning around to Setsu. I mean, I don't know what he was trying for there. Walking right into the face of the gyro. He didn't have he had a remnant. He did not have the mana to jump or escape.
He was checking rune, right? He was going to check that 8
It
rune.
caught him by surprise.
It spawned bottom. Weehaw was the one who was able to get a haste rune instead, so yeah, he gets...
That was always a risky play to go for, though, without any sort of escape potential.
But they're able to make so many aggressive moves. Like, look at this. Weehaw's pretty much doing what we saw Topson as well as mid one. Like, what we've been seeing all these Tinies now doing. You just run around and just try to set up kills constantly. And then you park your carry hero in a good farming lane, which is that mid one, so they can set up for kills for themselves.
Ooh, that's a smooth one from Setsu. Sidestep with the Remnant. Gets him out of the stop. Gets him back in the game and getting a kill. Very important for Setsu. We can see CS is sort of low on him, but net worth-wise, it's very even. He is up there, second highest, right behind Miracle's Gyro.
He's constantly moving around. I mean, the IO and the Gyrocopter are literally just moving from lane to lane. They're gonna have relocate ready quite soon, so that we're gonna have to watch for those global potential moves that could catch RNG off guard pretty early on. It's just about done there for GH. Great ways to set up for it too, in particular with that Tiny running around making space, but also My Control is able to get on top of targets with that Crippling Fear. We know how long that silence is at night. You can easily set up for rotations.
They have got the Stampede, they've got the Ember with his Remnants. There are ways for RNG to react to even some of those global moves. So not necessarily the easiest for Liquid to pull off unless they can get themselves on top of the sensor, perhaps. Get that silence on and make sure there's no Stampede save for the rest of the team. Moonlight Shadow used from RNG. They'll set up for the 10-minute runes. Mono will be able to take it right away from Weehaw. No detection, of course, on himself, but in fact, RNG, they're the ones to strike. They'll look towards Kuro. Kuro's dead. In comes the backup. Miracle and GH trying to turn things around. Setsu has the Remnant, ready to throw it to the high ground. They'll get themselves away from the relocate. That's the difficulty of trying for these plays. There's always going to be that chance for a quick escape from some of RNG's cores.
I love that, right? It's like you mentioned, there's the double global, there's the global on both sides, where if the relocate comes, you Stampede or you Moonlight Shadow and disengage. So good move by RNG, and that's the first nighttime that does go down, but it looked like this was more of a farming nighttime. They wanted to just have Mind Control parked up top so we can get those levels for now. Because making moves around the map is nice soccer. If you move in that first night and you're not successful, you ruin your game as a core. So you have to get that farm.
Weehaw, he's got backup coming in. TP will be there, and Setsu, Arfu won't see the opportunity to dive any further. They don't want to take their chances with GH coming in with the heals.
They know Miracle's isolated a bit down bottom, though, since the IO did leave and show himself on him. Very low, though.
Good sort of coverage again from Kuro. Stomp from the tree line, make sure that they cannot stay on top of the Gyro. Miracle gets the space to back off. He's finishing off his drums, looking for the Axe next.
They're going to try to play pretty fast with the Gyro as well as that Night Stalker. You're playing versus Lifestealer. You know what Lifestealer is going to do. He's got the gloves already queued up, so he's going to go for a Midas. So he's going to try to want to take advantage of that a little bit here.
In the mid from Weehaw will take out the Flame Guard. Setsu. Again, having Arfu sort of constantly sat behind him makes him a very hard target for Weehaw to go for. Even with the good levels on the Tiny, he cannot burst this Ember.
I like that we see Monet. He's going to Midas. It's not going to be the Radiance, though. He's going to be going for that armlet build. You're playing versus Gyrocopter. You want to have that early timing so you can fight back. And they also have, of course, their own... They have their Infest Bombs. They have a Centaur. They have an Ember Spirit. They even have the Miranda, too, which is a little bit of a crazy one if you do leap in and go for those. But they have ways for Monet to get on top of targets in particular. This has to be a little worried. He doesn't get kited out. That's why a lot of players, they go for that Radiance build, because sometimes, you know, the movement speed. Gyrocopter's going to be running around at, like, 450 at some point because of that IO tethered up. So we'll have to watch that one if Monet is able to stick on targets.
Still a very close early game. Both teams
so many rotations.
Sort of mirroring the pressure of one another. Dive in on the top tower will be responded to by TP's coming in. They're looking for Mind Control. He gets the Crippling Fear out. They're silencing them all in the AoE. Toss back now the combo from Miracle. He'll look forward to Monet, but Monet's rage is up. He'll turn knockdown onto Mind Control. They're bringing him low with the Mist Coil, but not quite enough damage to bring down the Night Stalker, as Liquid will stay all alive. See if they can chase and find anyone on the retreat. Stomp doesn't quite catch Arfu. Arfu, he's not going to come back in. RNG wants to try and take this fight. They're on top of Weehaw. Ult gets sent down by Kuro to split up the chase. Another shield from Arfu buys him some time, but again, another deny from Arfu. Every single time taking away that chance for Liquid to get a bit of golden XP, as he's hitting these Mist Coils perfectly.
Kuro was just pretty much, that looked like it was more so of a zoning Earth Splitter, and then they just caught Arfu with it, but set deny again. Both teams just matching the aggression.
terms of what the bigger items that are going to be important to look out for. Weehar's Blink halfway away for it. As you said earlier, definitely the Lifestealer's Armlet. Monet, he'll be looking to grab that one before they try and force anything else.
Okay, so it is going to be Armlet into the Radiance, because the movement speed thing in particular, he does have to make sure that he can. We saw, was it? I've seen a couple people doing.
We'll go Armlet,
yeah,
then
you go
Radiance.
Midas, Armlet, and then you still go back for that Radiance, because you're going to have trouble sticking on targets.
Sure, I guess they're sort of the best of both worlds, right?
Yep.
You're able to fight, you're able to turn up and be this very scary hero very early on, but you're going to still go for that scaling potential.
Yeah, and it gives you just flat armor, right? You have your phase boots for flat armor, you have a Helm of Iron Will for flat armor, so ET's aura in the later stages will be able to get prevented a little bit. Good fighting items.
Another push onto the tower. Weehart having Kuro by his side. Miracle and GH over to the triangle area. Continuing to hit those timings. Miracle, he is top net worth, and he's on track for a very good timing on picking up the Aghanims at this rate. He's already got the Blade of Alacrity done. Bit of time. Mid lane, Weehart. Trying for a catch. Money using the rage to make sure that he cannot be tossed back. They'll turn towards Flyby instead, but being the Centaur Warrunner, a Rocket Barrage won't be enough.
Liquid bringing all 5 heroes. So RNG, they're able to split up the map a little bit there. Setsu's farming top, Lanem farming bottom. Now we have these bounty runes, and it's going to be nighttime. Arrow, GH.
And Monet, Lanham, they're getting in on it. Can Lanham get the pickup in time? He's not going to be able to do so. Miracle will grab it now, turns towards Lanham with the homing missile. With the leap up, Lanham's out of way. They won't chase. They'll just sell for the bounty runes, 2 for 2. Back up top. RNG finding a catch on Kuros. He's left behind by Mind Controllers and Weehar as they return to their respective lanes. For 2k lead now for RNG, starting to ramp up a little bit faster and a little bit more evenly spread. You see both Monet and Setsu standing very close to the farm of Miracle, whereas Weehar and Mind Control slipping a little behind.
Lanem and Flyby are kind of both being these 3 positions right now. Lanem just having such an early good start since he was given kind of that core roll bottom. He's actually been given 50 last hits on this Murata. He's going to have a very early Atos set up for this team. Okay.
It just seems we're seeing Liquid's lineup trying to chase for a lot of kills with a lot of heroes, but they're just struggling to find the grab. There's so many ways for RNG to get away from them.
Mike.
Now, trying to play with the fear, but RNG, they're ready to turn Setsu. Beautiful jump in from outside of the silence, gets back in, sets up for the lockdown onto Kuro. They'll come in with the old Stampede Jews to get themselves out of the initial team fight of Liquid. We are back in on the front lines, goes for the Avalanche line. I'm able to turn with the burst. Miracle healed up by GH, but Setsu, he's got the grab with the chains onto Mind Control. Liquid are having to back off. Another big sleight of fist hits them all as Setsu continues the chase. Arfu's on the front line, but they turn. He's silent. The crippling fear causing issues for Arfu, and now Setsu, he's falling low. The silence will end just in time, allowing Setsu to get back over to the prepared remnant in the going for the TP. Mind Control nearly finding him to get the vision for that void, but he will get out. Arfu, the only one to fall.
His Dark Ascension ended like a second before he actually got into that high ground there, be able to get that slow. Oh my god, that was very close for them getting that cleanup kill. We saw the Crippling Fear really coming into play there, but RNG also, we see they're very tanky, very sustainable. We see as soon as that Stampede gets popped, they can choose to go for which targets they want, and they just have so much front line that they can just close in onto those targets. They didn't get on top of GH's IO though, so he was able to get a lot of sustain for his team as well.
Toss back here onto Arfu. They've got the sleep on both him and Setsu. Setsu's going to try and help out, and Arfu's already dead. Now they're on top of Setsu, and missile's headed his way. Should be fine, he's got the 3 remnants. With him back behind the tower, he'll get out of there. Liquid with the full 5-man, ready to put some pressure on mid.
They're just using that nighttime. They want to keep this pressure going. They have Crippling Fear up in 5 seconds again.
Looking for the wraparound. The balls will hit. They know that someone's hidden. They've popped the dust. Sentries down. They have the vision on Flyby. Lanham's going to try and help out with the arrow connection onto Mike's job. A miracle. There's the ult coming down. Monet rage and an escape from him. He cannot stand tall for the fight, but Setsu's going to try and jump in and look for the cleanup. Chains onto both Weehar and Kuro. Kuro drops down the ult to split them up, and Weehar's in with the combo onto Setsu. Setsu's out of mana. Setsu's dead. He overcommits and gets punished heavily by Liquid.
You have to be really careful when you commit forward like that. There's so much burst damage. Sure, you have Flame Guard, but you're playing versus Gyrocopter with Tiny with the natural order. We mentioned it during the draft. You do have to be a bit cautious there when you commit forward. And GH, he's getting left alone in the fights. Even though they have ways like Sin was talking on the draft panel, they have a lot of ways of getting on top of the IO. but GH is not getting killed in the fights. He is getting all of his bottle charges off, all of his stick charges off, just keeping the sustain going for Miracle.
Yeah.
And now Miracle's got next.
Yeah. GH 2-1-5. His positioning has been perfect. Every single fight that Liquid have looked for so far.
They're protecting him really well too, right? My Control is just kind of charging in. See the skill build from My Control as well. Only the 2 points in Void because, yeah, sure, your damage scales up, the cooldown scales up, but it's really all about that long duration silence and the cooldown. Crippling Fear scales insanely. 8 seconds silence at night with a 15-second cooldown. It's got 50% uptime. It's pretty absurd. So that's definitely going to cause problems as we may see early BKBs get picked up after their first damage items on the side of RNG just to deal with that Crippling Fear. Miracle.
Look for the wraparound. Arrow to follow up. They'll jump in, but again, GH in with the tether, starting to give Miracle the sustain he needs to turn and look to try and fight back. Arfu is the focus. Borrow time. We'll borrow him enough to get over the river, but the ball's slapping into the side of him, slowing him down. Arfu this time will not be able to deny himself. Miracle now dominating as Liquid are coming out on top of these little skirmishes.
They're really taking advantage of the nighttime.
Onto Setsu. But they got the damage during this amount of silence and lockdown. The stomp setup is getting Weeha in close. He's in with the combo. Setsu tries to throw out the rounders. Will be able to jump down to the low ground. Arrow holds back. Weeha, but Liquid, they're chasing onward. The homing missiles go in the way of Setsu. It's pretty deep behind the tier 2 tower, so RNG will want to try and fight back. The combo's out from Flyby with the mech heal. They're back up to pretty much full Liquid. They're diving in towards the tier 3s. Weeha's in with the combo. They've killed off Setsu and Lanham. Setsu buys back. Desperately wanting to turn this around and punish Liquid for their dive as Weeha gets left behind by the rest of the team. Liquid getting everybody else out of there as it seems. Kuro will TP out right underneath the nose of Arfu. Everyone else gets away.
And they get 4 bounty runes for Liquid after that super aggressive dive forward.
There's still a tier 1 and a tier 2 in that top lane, but Liquid don't care. Taking the fight right up to the tier 3. Coming out on top. Sure, they lose Weeha, but it's a buyback forced out from Setsu. His gold is going to get slowed down.
They have to prioritize GH higher. Somehow, they have to kill this IO. Like you said, in the fight, it's looking like RNG might be able to turn it. The mech gets popped. Everyone gets pretty much full healed from it. Level 12 on GH as well as level 13 on Miracle. They're pretty much just sharing that experience as they're surviving throughout all of these fights. This front line, this nighttime is really causing problems for RNG. They need to kick up the pace during the daytime. This is where they need to make some active moves.
They've just got to throw everything his way.
Yeah, they have to get on GH.
They have to. They've got to try and get the wraparound. We saw them try for it in the mid lane. But every time their sort of focus has been diverted towards the gyro, they're trying to deal with Miracle, but just the amount of heals that Miracle's getting, and now with his items done, Aghanims, Maelstrom was picked up. I believe was that on the courier when it died? He did have the money, I believe.
I didn't think it was. I think Kuroki picked it up. Yeah, Kuroki has it.
Kuro's got the delivery service.
I was like, wait.
Yeah.
The courier's dead, but I saw him buy it, so that would have made sense. Yeah.
There we go. So Kuro's going to be able to drop off the Maelstrom into the hands of Miracle, and there we have it. 21 minutes in. Phase Drum, Aghanim Maelstrom, Gyrocopter. That's a little bit of a terror for RNG.
Absolutely. So many distractions in the fight. My Control is doing an excellent job on this Night Stalker, who is the first Night Stalker of the tournament, right? I'm pretty sure that's what they were saying as well. So they're making it work. These long duration silence are really punishing RNG at the moment. RNG only, like we said, though, only that 1k gold behind, and they're pretty much having the Radiant stun on Monet as well. So he's got a good timing for himself too, but Setsu is starting. Setsu's not being falling behind too much because he's tied with the Tiny, but he'd want himself to have more fun. He's got those 4 deaths. He keeps getting just comboed and chased down.
Oh, it is hard against this Night Stalker. You're running, what, 4 melee heroes? And even the ranged hero, Lanham, he's ideally trying to get in kind of close to maximize damage with the Starstorm. They're very vulnerable to this crippling fear.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, the 4 melee is definitely a concern when you're playing versus ET and Night Stalker, right? And also even Call Down. Even though they have the high mobility, if they don't have the Stampede up, they can get caught quite easily by all these spells. This is Liquid. They're looking to fight again. They've got Dark Ascension available for My Control. So whenever they have that or Nighttime, they're definitely going to look to just bring the punch back to RNG.
We've got the Maelstrom done on Setsu, so a little bit of a damage spike up for the team. If he's able to sort of keep himself alive, we saw earlier the potential for those sort of cute plays, staying outside of the fear. If he can get him with the Slight and Chains onto Mind Control, just offers some sort of control that disables the Night Stalker during that crippling fear, and will open the chance for RNG to strike back in that very small window, as you mentioned, just what the 7 seconds during nighttime where there isn't the silence to worry about.
7 seconds. It just sounds so little.
It's not a lot of time.
Crazy.
You've got that 7-second window that you have to at least get a kill, as we said. You know, definitely the priorities being that IO. Obviously, it would be nice if they can get the Night Stalker before he's able to get off another crippling fear, but it's getting harder and harder to do so each of these times they go in. Another big item is now finished for RNG. Monet's Radiance is done.
Radiance is done, but at the same time, too, Mind Control picks up a full pipe.
Oh, it's a full pipe.
So, Medallion, Pipe, he's even carrying the 3 Dusts. I love this. He's the Night Stalker. I think 3 positions, we've seen more and more core players buying their own reveal, but as a Night Stalker, you're in the front line, you're diving toward the back always. You're playing versus Moonlight Shadow. You need to have that Dust for your team. So that's like the Radiance, very strong, of course, because of the miss rate and all the damage that's going to be coming up, but counteracted a bit by that Pipe. Flyby does have a blink now, though, for RNG, so as we were saying, they had the Stampede and they had the Ember Spirit in order, and even the Marauder to get on top of that IO.
Gonna try and fight. Look at a miracle. GH is going to be around to be able to save it. TP's come in for the Shrine. They're committing a lot onto this Gyro, but there's the easy tear. The GH just comes across. They'll just start to turn things around. They've got the chase on towards Monet. Stampede will be used to get them out of there, but Flyby's left behind. The Centaur will fall. And Arfu, he doesn't look to be in much of a better situation. They're running him down. Liquid, again, just punishing any attempt from RNG to look for a fight. RNG going for a very awkward play there, moving over to Liquid's triangle and trying to initiate on this Gyrocopter who had all the backup in the world.
They're trying to make stuff happen during the daytime, but Dark Ascension gets popped, and then it's pretty much nighttime. I mean, it is nighttime when he does do that, and they can just look to take those fights pretty easily, especially when they have a high ground advantage. It's looking really hard for RNG right now. It's just the Lifestealer who's really been able to do much inside of these fights. And he just has to disengage. Miracle is getting to a fast critical mass period. Already, I mean, he's already got the Eagle Song, he's got the Butterfly queued up. They do not have good ways to deal with that at all on the side of RNG's, if he's able to get that, which he will soon.
The items are just coming out so fast. And sure, you look at the net worth, Money is close behind. But just what this Gyro is able to do with the backup of GH's IO in comparison to what the Lifestealer is able to do with a similar amount of gold, it's just totally different. It's not even close.
Weehan, a bit far up here. Reload kick's coming out though. Liquid, they want to fight this.
Tanky is going to have the fight buff off it up, and Weehan stepping away. Monet won't be able to finish him off even with the rage committed, and now the turnaround. Miracle goes with the 3-man call out, throwing the ball, crippling fear out onto Monet. Monet stops to buy Kuro. The Lifestealer's dead, and all coming into play is going to easily set up for another as they'll jump forward towards Arfu. Liquid just cleaning up RNG every single fight. As RNG, they just cannot get the kills now at this point in the game. They're really struggling to bring the fights to Liquid.
They cannot take the fights versus them at all. There's just way too much coming out from the side of Liquid, just too much tankability on their front line. And then the damage that you see coming out, that ET Spirit just being put on top of all the Gyro's damage is just ripping it RNG to shreds. As you see a little bit of a different talent being picked up by GH. He actually takes the health regen in this game instead of the Spirit Hero.
Oh, you know.
Just wanted to get that extra heal under Miracle. He's not wanting to be the damage
I was going to say,
he believes.
This ain't no carry IO. You know, this is GH. He's settling into the support role this game. He doesn't want to try and take the game over.
Yeah. Any little type of extra health. Even though that one is quite low. It's only E. But since you're tethered up, it makes it that much better.
It's double the benefit.
Yeah, Liquid. Even though it's only that 2K advantage, the fights just seem so impossible for RNG.
They just can't deal with this Gyro combination. Liquid keeping themselves very safe in any sort of play that they make.
How close are we to BKBs? Because that's, I think they just absolutely need it on, and it feels like on everybody. I don't want to say that Monet needs it because he's a life and he has rage, but he might need it as well. Just this crippling fear is just so problematic. Miracle though, the arrow caught. I'm gonna toss it back and save him though. He has Aegis anyway, as well as that Butterfly, so still super confident walking back up on the high ground.
This tier 3 tower just taking so much damage here at 27 minutes. RNG, they are going to step out. Sentries in place. They'll see Monet. Monet knows. No point in trying to poke in on the Gyro. Again, as we stress, just that importance for RNG of being able to find the backlines of Liquid.
Relocate back to base just to heal up and pick up his item, it looks like. Yeah, he picks up his Glimmer, gets full bottle, gets all that mana back. And they want to keep themselves parked outside here. They have that Aegis. If they stay here, that means RNG is just trapped in their base and not getting any extra farm. Liquid really wanted to press the issue here and try to get a Rax advantage.
The BKB now done for Setsu.
He's got to just beeline toward GH. But
Well, even with the
do they have
pipe
dust?
and with the mech and with the glimmer cape,
Yeah, they need
GH is going to feel pretty safe.
Yeah, they're going to need ways to find him in the back.
They're just going to toss mind control in. They're ready to look to drive straight into the base. There's the commitment with the BKB. Setsu, he's trying to get on top of GH, but he cannot. The physical damage out from Miracle, it's too high. Setsu has to back out immediately as Miracle just cleans them up.
They will get mind control, though. But Miracle's still holding his ground.
They're feeling strong. We are going to get the jump in onto another. Lannon's found out the jump, looking for the backlines. Can they kill him? GH is getting rid of. Finally get the IO. Now they've got to look to try and clean up more. Miracle turns towards Setsu and buyback comes out from Flyby. Skura goes for the TP out. Change will cancel it. RNG pushing back Liquid. See if they can find any of the big kills. Both Weeha and Miracle would be a bit of a dream for RNG to catch, but looks like they'll both have the speed to get themselves out of there. It does cost them a buyback, but they keep those racks held.
They finally get on top of GH.
They do. They throw everything down onto the IO and they do the job.
Weeha just runs in, breaks his flame guard, and he's like, haha, now you can't farm as efficient. And then he goes in this and walks away. And they force that buyback on Flyby, just keeping that aggressive stance. We now see finally, I think the Dota Plus has finally ticked into Liquid's favor after all that, as they're able to keep RNG kind of locked in their base for a bit. It was a 61%, as we saw there, for Liquid. Miracle just continuing to lead that net worth chart. Next item going to be picked up pretty soon as well. They weren't killing him before. He's almost got a Satanic. He's got his own ways to provide his own sustain now.
And the game's sort of getting to the point for this Gyro where he's not going to be quite as sad as he was before if GH does get taken down by his side. He can certainly keep the fight going without his ball of light.
Do have daytime for about 4 minutes. There's Dark Ascension, of course, up in about 20 seconds. RNG not seeming to be able to find ways to catch them off guard here. As Liquid all still grouped together, just wanting to take the fights to RNG since they're just feeling very comfortable with this lead.
I mean, if they find that, you know, that Gyro kill, it's got to be worth so much right now.
They see the courier walking outside the base because they do have a base ward. This is really important. Base wards, these can be just straight up game winning because you get the jump into the backs, or you see when they're initiating, you can pop your immunities or pop your silences, the crippling fear in particular from mind control. That's definitely going to be pretty important to look at.
Another tower taken by Liquid. RNG opting to look for the fights on the high ground rather than trying to poke around these tier 2 defenses.
He's going to clean up the shrine. Aegis is going to be reclaimed in about 10 seconds. RNG trying to take advantage of that timing.
They do get the arrow connection onto Miracle. With that Aegis and Satanic, he really isn't the target they want to try and find. Monet pops the wounds. He's trying to poke on a Miracle, but with the evasion as well, Miracle just isn't taking much damage at all. They'll surround him. Lannon's going to pounce out. The quick fit. It's on top of Monet. He's dead for 70 seconds. And with the missile chase down onto Flyby, Liquid's going to look for more. Miracle has the damage. Double kill for Miracle as there's 3 dead on RNG.
Setsu, he has no remnants. He's got one up in about 2 seconds.
And this silence,
fear again.
It's so destroying for the heroes of RNG. Setsu has got buyback, but both Flyby and Monet cannot return to the game.
Forcing so many buybacks. Miracle still holding his ground here. They don't have creeps though, so these Rexes, they are healing. Creeps will start coming in. RNG trying to set up for something here.
Can they do anything with just the 3 of them?
Lanem wants the back. He wants Kuroki.
He's got the connection. Jumps in with a burst. It's one of the backliners down. RNG. And they chase for more. Liquid. They are retreating. Lanem's hunting. And Liquid a little too speedy to be able to get themselves away. So again, a little bit of a kickback from RNG, but Liquid just getting that lead bigger and bigger. 6K advantage. The map control, the game control still seriously in Liquid's favor.
That was them like timing it, right? Like they had the countdown. They know, you know that they have that timer of that Aegis. They're like, all right, 10 seconds. You saw Monet was trying to ignore Miracle, but the damage from this gyrocopter really starts to add up too much. And yeah, this Night Stalker last pick is seeming to just be like absolutely amazing. Just taking out everything.
I mean, just to the point where
devastating.
You're sort of asking why have we not seen this hero more? Mind control's making it look pretty busted.
We have seen it played, like, not at this tournament, of course, but we have seen it, I don't know if it was played at Epicenter at all. It wasn't played at Epicenter, really, I don't think, but I know NIP were the ones that were drafting it a bit of the times, right? When we saw them at, like, the MDL Major, they did pick it a couple times, and, I mean, they had some success with it. And this game, it does seem to be just perfect to just shut down that mobility that the draft panel was talking about that could be some problems. Liquid all just, they're kind of just like sticking together and keeping these fights going. If you look at their scores, it's 12-0-9 for Miracle, 2-3-19 on GH, 1-8-17 on Kuroki. They're all just, yeah, everyone's just playing and fighting as a big unit together.
I think we're just getting...
They're not able to get the fights.
RNG's just getting a bit of a reminder that if you let Liquid get the Gyro-IO combination, you're not going to have an easy game.
Monet, gotta be careful. This is a incredibly farmed gyrocopter.
I mean, there's 5 birds up, but they just cannot stop Miracle from taking these buildings.
They were trying to set up for a toss-back play onto the Crippling Fear. My Control had set it up for Weehaw when he jumped.
And the racks are just falling.
It's just dropping.
They've got 5 heroes up. What are they going to do? They're now going to try and look for the jump. The commitment on to GH. They're focusing the Isle again. The Isle's gone. Instant buyback for GH as they look to rejoin the team. Weehaw jumped past the racks and look at the start of the fight behind it all. They'll pop the flag, hit the racks. Liquid still get the racks as this is sort of a point in the game where sure they can kill off GH. But at this point in the game, the rest of Liquid are more than happy to fight without that Io.
Silence! He has that BKB! He's just dead! He's dead for 110 seconds!
Drastic plays, frustration from RNG there for sure. They felt that they had to go for something big. You can kind of understand why he would try for that, but he has no buyback. And sort of going for a play like that in itself is sort of the same as typing GG in the all chat. As this game is looking pretty rough and impossible for RNG to recover from. As their best bet, it's going to have to be looking toward game 2. This game 1, Liquid with a superior draft that's just proven impossible to break down in any of the fights. There it is, GG is called. Liquid, they'll take game 1. Gyro and Io, Miracle's Gyro, 12-0-11. And GH with the 2-4-20. It was a clean game from Liquid. And I don't think they're going to be getting that partnership again in game 2. And you just got a treasure.
And I just got a treasure. Nice, thank you.
Did I get a treasure? I didn't get a treasure. Damn it. But Liquid, Gyro, Io, we're not going to see them have it again, are we?
Especially not with an Elder Titan. I look at the damage numbers, you know, Kuroki, 8,000, GH, 8,000, Mind Control, 8,000, Weehaw, 26, Miracle, 50,000, because he's just amplified so much from that. He just had so much farm, so much space. They started on the bottom lane, sure, we saw at the very beginning. RNG, they were able to kill them off the once or the twice, at least GH. Miracle, of course, not dying at all. But for the rest of the game, Miracle was just an item ahead of everyone in the matchup. And as you say, just the support play and the auras, the control around them, mind control, being able to get in as this Night Stalker with this AoE silence, it just destroyed RNG's heroes. They could not fight back. It absolutely did. And the mech and the pipe, too much sustain. RNG just could not deal with it at all. This beastly Gyro and this last pick Night Stalker, which looked phenomenal.